Today we're going to follow a navigational canal called the Hadley Canal. It's in South Hadley, Massachusetts. And we're going to try to go from the north to the south. We're at the Grand Locks. 2 locks used to be down this person's driveway. And they were put there in the year 1794 and ready by 1795. And the first boat started going through. It can go through north to south or south to north. This was 2 locks with a north to south direction. And once you got down by either the masonry dam or the wooden dam, there'd be another 5-lock system. Now these are called Grand Locks. They used to have a canal that would go out into the river. They used to have a dam that would be out in the river, deflecting water into the lock system. And every half mile or so, they'd have byways where boats can get out of the way of each other. And so we're going to follow as closely to this dam as possible. It's very difficult, but we're going to try. Okay, that's the Connecticut River. The canal would have been in the very marshy area down below. If you look very close on, there's a canal down there, and that's the South Hadley Canal. Now, it's not always this obvious, but right now you can see it was about 15 feet across, and they could fit the canal boats inside of there. Okay, this is River Road in South Hadley. We're going to the south now, and now it's starting to disappear, but you can see the indentation of the land. That's where the canal was, through this whole path that we're going over. Still down there. There's still obviously water down there. You can see right below. Now we're starting to pull away from the river and from the canal. The canal falls at this point a little bit away from the river, but we're going a lot of it away. So there's no road here that we can follow the canal, but it's still the river road. And so what we're going to do now is when we get to the end of River Road, we're going to try to find ourselves. So the canal is still there. It's a 2.5 mile long canal. The first approximately 3/4 of a mile are still in place. And what you see off to your right side now is a bog. It's filled in right now because it rained a lot about 5 days ago. Okay, we just turned down to West Summit Street off of River Road and North Main Street very briefly. And yes, we'll be picking up again the canal. We're going to have to see it from a distance though. So I'm going to show you where to go in. Sadly, about 7 years ago, put in this new road, which is Extension Road. And what you do is you come down here, park here, and then get out of your car, walk a little bit, and come to an input that's immediate, hard to your right over here. And down there you can see the water and the bridge. That is the canal itself. Okay, so keep that in mind if you ever walk down here. And have a few bridges around here. If you look to the immediate right, you can see a water patch. That is the canal again. So it comes to the surface a lot around here. Okay, and there's gonna be more paths right through here to our hard right. There's the river, but there's a patch of the canal that's visible to the hard right. There.
I got it.
No, that's right down here. To the bottom down there is a little patch of water coming in. That is the canal trying to get off the river again. Okay, so don't get that wrong. Most people get that wrong. They think that there's a cove island beyond that with a little cove inlet. They think that's the canal. That's not true. It's not. Now, we're going to show you the Connecticut River in front of you, but if you look to the right, there's what people mistake. There's an island out there and the water going in the Cove Isle, and that's not it. So what I showed you, a little patch, either got onto one of those two paths, brings you the true canal, and that little patch I showed you down below, that is it. So don't ever get it wrong, please. You know, there's descriptions in this. This is where I bring tour goers from the Hadley Library area up to here and then into one of those two trails, whichever one is best. And there's a beautiful overlook here with a deck, right? You can go on the benches, the deck, and this park is called Hadley Falls Canal Park. The outlook is called the Ted Belsky Overlook. All right, so you can come to either one of these two, and there's lots of parking spaces for people. Okay, now we're getting onto Canal Street. And Canal Street is going to bring us to the Hadley Library. Now, remember this. It used to be true that canal kept going through this land. It cannot do that anymore because once they put in the masonry dam, it raised the water enough to flood into the canal. And so the last mile, our first mile, depending on how you look at it, is gone. So what you're going to actually see of a canal is about, if it's 2.5 miles long, you see about 1.2 miles of it. The rest of it is totally gone. But you can, at the very end, pick up features such as a lock system in the gatehouses, and those are wonderful to see. Okay, we're in the library park, which is to the north of Hadley Library, and to a hard right, there's a tiny park there where you can actually see the gatehouse aside there, and I made a stop for you to look at them. So this is just both an overlook and it's an orientation drive, trying to get you to sense where things are along the way. All right, and then I go into the parking lot of the Hadley Library. We pass the Hadley Library, and in the parking lot, you get to see the Connecticut River and Riverside Park deep below. All right, you can see the masonry dam, the wooden dams down below. It's very agitated water today due to all the water rain we received. Gatehouse Park is to the edge of this park. It's open from May 1st to November 1st. Which is 6 months, so we still got more to show here. So if you want to do the canal walk with me, that's great. But it's only once a year, and all the rest of the time you should have using all the details I give you, maps, descriptions, pictures. Right below us, maybe 10 feet from us, is the start of 3 of the 5 locks that still remain here. This fence blocks the park called Texan Park, but the lock system is right below us. If the car went through that fence, it'd be dropped into a lock system. And they have an overlook down there that you can go on and see those locks. 2 of the 5 locks in the south are gone now. They filled them in with dirt. But the other 3 are still quite visible. Okay, now we're in the Hadley Town parking lot, and you can see to our immediate right that this is the entrance into Lower Riverside Park, which is a way to get to view the Glasgow Mill. Now this is the end of our tour. I'll drive to the end of this parking lot. You can just park in this parking lot. You can do the walking trip up from south to north, and you can see all these stops. I added that beat on River Road on purpose. So we're looking at lock number 1 in front of us, the lowest of all, and its outline is still there, very easy to see. So I'm glad you came on this South Hadley Canal tour.